Good afternoon, YouTube. I'm here to tell you a tale of another time Twitter was mad at me, but this time they were right. And this story is actually a little old at this point. Basically, I had to wait until the check cleared to divulge any details regarding this. So what am I talking about? The Guilty Gear Strive Nintendo Switch Edition launch live show, which seems innocuous enough. It doesn't seem like a very big deal on the surface, but I was asked to participate in a live promotional stream. It had an interesting cast of characters here. It had myself, Justin Wong, Sea-Dog VA, and then Mighty Freaking Mouse, MMA featherweight, I believe, world champion. Really random cast of characters because, for one, you know, Guilty Gear Strive, I have played Guilty Gear Strive, just to set the record straight. I did have a mighty nice soul on launch, very unique to me. No one else had a good soul on launch, only me, of course. But I did play Guilty Gear a little bit, but I'm not a Guilty Gear player. Justin Wong himself, I wouldn't categorize him as a Guilty Gear player, but he's a multi-game fighting game champion, and he definitely can cook in Guilty Gear. Sea-Dog VA told us himself personally he does not play fighting games. And Mighty Mouse is definitely actually a fighting game fan. He was fanboying over Justin Wong and all the practice and rehearsal leading up to the show. And he does play fighting games and he knows what he's talking about. But, you know, he's not really known for being the face of Guilty Gear Strive. So in reaction to this being the cast of characters to do the announcement show for the launch of Guilty Gear Strive on Nintendo Switch, there was a lot of mixed reactions. By mixed, I mean mostly reactions like this one. Brian F. doing a Strive promo event. What the hell is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? So yeah, when I saw the lineup, when I got hit with who would actually be joining me in doing this show, I knew the reactions were going to be this way. There's a lot of really funny reactions from the community, to be honest. Nightmare blunt rotation, they say in regards to this. Hotashi, Guilty Gear Strive content creator and competitive player. What have I even been doing with my life? Ouch. Marvello here, I think he sums it up nicely. Love these guys, but not one Strive player or content creator here is insane work. First, you continue to buff Gold Lewis, and next, you show you don't really care about the players supporting all despite the embarrassing network issues you continue to have. Speaking of network issues, there's some subtle foreshadowing there in that tweet as well. And if you, in general, if you just go through the quote tweets for this announcement, it's just tweet after tweet about people just scratching their head, a mix of laughing and finding the humor in how random this cast of characters is, and a lot of actual angry people who are a little bit peeved at the ArcSys event being represented by people not from the community itself. Basically, people shooting in the gym for the ArcSys and Guilty Gear Strive community were not being supported in this announcement. There was no, support from the developers themselves to people who have been keeping the community afloat in the competitive scene for this announcement. I had this in response to say, nice to see so much discussion and excitement about Guilty Gear Strive on the Nintendo Switch. Because there was so much discourse around this, so many tweets going around, and none of it was about Guilty Gear Strive on the Nintendo Switch. So it was pretty funny to see. I was definitely being tongue-in-cheek about this, but I think this one tweet summed it up pretty succinctly. Absolutely hate that this FGC is just turning into a corporate circle jerk with the same 5 or so content creators. I felt this way since the EVO announcement, and now it's just solidified. And I thought this was pretty interesting because, little Brian F here, there was once a time where I was not part of the corporate FGC. I was not part of the establishment. And I remember feeling this way as well. It's, I think, a very natural reaction to see your niche community being co-opted and misrepresented by figures of larger influence and larger power, in a sense, that don't directly align with your community, your values, and don't truly represent the people who are passionate about any game, any community, any topic, any activity, etc. I actually totally relate to this, and I knew this was going to happen. Once I accepted this role, a little reluctantly, I might add, because I understood that I wasn't necessarily the best fit for this, but I also had a different perspective to this as well, which I'll go into. But I knew this might be a problem, and I knew it definitely was going to be a problem once I heard that there would be nobody to anchor us, really, to the active Guilty Gear Strive community. I knew it was going to be kind of a shit show after the fact. But, what they also did here is they also got people like Iron Mouse, the VTuber with over 1 million followers, and at one point the most subscribed streamer on Twitch, to do a restream of this. Is it a mistake for the publishers here to have Iron Mouse promote the stream as well? Well, I think this touches on the actual purpose of these types of promotional events and the root of how these operate. So in this video, I'm actually going to break down how these sponsorships actually work and how you as the audience can help sway things in the favor of having people from your community represent you and yourself on these larger platforms, and how content creators and players within the community themselves can help position themselves in a way to be more likely to achieve these opportunities by understanding how these opportunities could come about. And I'll share my own personal experience for how this ended up in my lap as well, so that, in the future, maybe people that are really shooting with you in the gym for the Guilty Gear Strive community can have these opportunities presented to them, rather than, say, myself, Justin Wong, Mighty Mouse, or Dog VA. Because yeah, that is kind of a really random nightmare blunt rotation. I can't lie. At the end of the day, do you really want to put them through this?
No.
Whoa, look at the RC combos.
I tried.
Was that a double RC on that one?
Whoa, hey, what's going on?
No, I did not rage quit. I did not rage quit, okay? I did not rage quit.
Poor Dog. So here Justin Wong is beating the crap out of Dog, who does not play Guilty Gear or fighting games really at all. And then, of course, the lobby disconnects. In classic Arc 6 fashion, the lobbies always have issues. We are playing on Nintendo Switch here. And then at this point forward, it's just us trying to fill to cover up for the fact that the network is having issues and they keep rejoining the lobby and it doesn't work. So do you really want to put your favorite Strive creator through this to have to put on a smile and smile through the pain? Shout out to Dog. He carried. He was positioned as the host for this event, and he really carried the show. This is definitely not my expertise of how to fill when technical issues occur and you're supposed to, wink, wink, nudge, nudge and get through it. So do you really want to put your favorite Guilty Gear Strive creator through that? I don't know. Maybe not. But why did this opportunity end up in my lap, and why did it not end up in the lap of somebody, more aligned with the Guilty Gear Strive community? I guess we'll give you a bit of history of why I think I received the email for this opportunity and why I was able to take it. So first of all, I've been a competitive player for quite some time, and I've had a history of participating in the media as a competitive player, right? I was part of Street Fighter League Season 1. I've been on the mic. I've been part of a show, a season. I've been establishing myself as someone who can actually speak in front of a camera. I was able to represent orgs during my time as a competitive player as well, and also do media content creation for these orgs as well. I've also been a content creator for quite some time. I have a decent amount of following on my social media platforms, which is attractive to publishers when I'm creating these opportunities. So I've been able to build up these platforms to have enough reach to make it possible, because a big part of why they reach out to people is to have people in the know about the topic that is being promoted, but also have enough reach to go beyond the already established audiences to pull new people into the fold. So one definite approach you could have to this is people who are dedicated Guilty Gear Strive creators might be reaching people who already know and will already be purchasing such a port, whereas someone with my reach more in the Street Fighter community, which is it's adjacent to Guilty Gear, they might be more likely to be new customers coming into the fold. Same thing with someone like a Mighty Mouse or a Dog or an Iron Mouse, for example. 1 million followers in the VTuber community, has a lot of reach outside of the core FGC. Might be more profitable for them to have those opportunities than to continue to target their already established returning customers. That is definitely something that these publishers might be considering as well. On top of that, I've done media for quite some time. I found this thumbnail. This one cracks me up. I had the No Neutral Show, which was a part of the Capcom Fighters official esports media program. So this was under their umbrella. This was their show, right? I was paid to do this show as well. This is not something that I was putting under my own platform, so I had to abide by their guidelines, for example. So there was different stipulations with this. And also this eventually grew, which I was very grateful for, to the Capcom Pro Tour Season Final 2021 when they had to cancel Capcom Cup. They restructured that due to COVID. They restructured that to be the season final, and they had the No Neutral pre-show where me and Rob and other commentators got to sit down on the analyst desk and talk about the matches ahead and what had occurred in the previous days and the season prior, and also do some analyst work between matches as well. So I've been able to establish myself as both a known player in the scene, content creator, and someone who's done media, worked with established agencies, production companies, and be able to talk on a mic about a product, about an event, and not be a brand risk. I think this is the number one thing that is important to publishers and agencies when doing these types of promotions and having people brought into the fold for doing these events, is they need people who cannot be a brand risk. You have to have a long history of being able to do these official events without randomly cursing, while maintaining a certain level of appearance, while being able to communicate clearly and have an engaging personality while doing so. Those are very important things to the agencies, far more than your tournament placements or anything of that nature. Tournament placements are a vehicle to gain notoriety in the community, but you need to pair that with your marketability and approachability in that sense, so that you can actually be able to talk on the camera and they know that you're not going to drop a bunch of random slurs or go off the deep end live on stream while representing their product, right? That is the number one concern that they have. So sticking with people who are known is the safe and profitable bet for them. Unfortunately, that's really is the case, right? And it's been interesting to see myself, like, you know, over the years, it used to be the streets bets with Brian F, and now I'm the corporate FGC, which is true, I guess, right? It's interesting to see that evolution over time. It's just how it is. If you stay in the lane for long enough, eventually you are the establishment rather than the up and comer, and I guess now I'm the establishment. So it's very natural to I think to see those reactions. So I don't fault them whatsoever. I'm just hoping I can explain a bit going forward as well how we can help turn these things around for these companies. And beyond all those facts I just mentioned, the other thing that made me one of the right people for this opportunity was I have answered my emails before. You see, the way these things work, I'll have this paint diagram that I created with 1,000 hours here in Paint. See, when these types of campaigns go on, they're usually referred to as campaigns. The publisher who owns the game IP usually outsources all of this activity to an agency. They provide a marketing budget to the agency, and it's the agency's job then to gather all the influencers who will participate in the campaign. They do the production, they handle coordinating with all the influencers, they handle creating the graphics, the media, etc., etc. They are the ones doing the work. The publisher is the one who greenlit the entire campaign, and the agency will have to go back and forth with the publisher in terms of approvals, in terms of things with budgets. So the publishers are setting the guardrails for sure and have the final yes to no on any interaction. But really, you're dealing with the agency. They are the medium in which you communicate through to the publisher. So when I get this opportunity in my email, I'm not talking to ArcSys directly. I'm talking to an agency. The agency reaches out to you and you respond. I think the number one X factor that I've had in these moments is I have read my emails and I respond promptly and professionally. I think this is an X factor that might not exist in the FGC. And if you continue to maintain that relationship with the agency, you can continue to have them approach you for further opportunities down the line. So that said, with this particular agency, when they finally approached me to be a part of the live broadcast show itself with a paid opportunity, this was not my first rodeo with them. In fact, I've been doing sponsored streams for the ArcSys World Tour for years now. Here's me doing a sponsored stream back in March 11th, 2023. Here's me announcing another one in March 23rd, 2024. And heck, who knows, there might be one coming up in the future as well. So leading up into the moment where I had done the actual on-screen broadcast live on stream, I had worked with this exact same agency many times and it had established essentially a professional working relationship with them. So when they approached me to be part of the stream instead, I was able to respond promptly as I always have. They understood that I would work within the guidelines of a campaign because I'd done that successfully several times and I didn't present any brand risk or breach any terms of contract. And they probably thought they could trust me as a go-to person when this larger opportunity presented itself. I also had this one I forgot to mention. This is probably my most proud sponsored ad.
Games.
Whoa, all right. Enough of that Brian F guy, always going on and on about fighting games. Hi, I'm Brian F, and I'm here to talk to you about fighting games and saving money. Hashtag sponsored. Arc System Works, creators of some of the biggest fighting
so this was a DNF dual ad back in the day.
I had actually injected into one of my videos. Kind of cringy, but I actually, I got to work on my editing chops a little bit, use a green screen. I enjoyed it in the end. And it had a pretty decent organic response, right? This had 1.9K likes on an ad. An ad. You know how rare that is to get any engagement on an ad whatsoever? Compare 1.9K to 17 likes. Orders of magnitude, because they let me be creative with the ad, and I took that opportunity. And this was actually embedded in a YouTube video that I did. I forgot which one, but it worked out, right? So I've been successful in the past in terms of doing these sponsorship campaigns. So what does this mean? Getting these opportunities more aligned with the core community, who people in that community feel should be rewarded those opportunities. Well, what can we do here? So tips for fans to sway things. What can you do? So number one, keep making noise. I think what you guys are doing in terms of replying to these official accounts and making some noise about who should have these opportunities, I do think that could eventually help the agencies or the publishers take notice. I think that is important. But also, I think be realistic. Understand what is the goal here. The goal is to have someone who knows what they're talking about to a degree, but also be able to influence a larger market outside of the immediate niche, right? That is definitely the appeal. Or if they're doing just a restream, it's more just to communicate the product to their audience, even if they're not directly related to it. So having a super core connection with the core community is not really a primary goal with these sorts of things, but it can help for sure. Support your favorite players, content creators. Yeah, keep tuning into their stuff. Keep tuning into your creators. Keep supporting them. Now, I will say the problem is, I don't believe that you can fake support. Like if you're a content creator, I don't think you can rely on sympathy support or like activism essentially from a community to get you by, because at the end of the day, the content creator marketplace is determined essentially by habits from people. It's not about sympathy. It's not about activism. It's about true behaviors that come from a place of selfish dopamine addiction, right? You have to keep viewers engaged. You have to keep them entertained. And if you don't, you will naturally fall behind. Sympathy support and support that appeals to people's sense of pride or people's sense of righteousness, like, oh, this person is from the community, I should really support them. That will eventually fade. You really have to organically get people's attention and maintain it through your own creative endeavors. That is required as a content creator. But that said, if you're not a content creator or a player and you're trying to get people in your community to have these opportunities, these are two things I definitely think you should do and keep doing to help improve their odds of having these opportunities handed to them. On the other hand, tips for creators to get these opportunities. So number one, do YouTube. I don't know how many times I have to say this. YouTube is the number one most important social media platform for anyone trying to be a content creator. Being a live streamer is just a system where the rich get richer and you're able to better monetize your existing audience on Twitch and live streaming in that sense, but it will never grow your influence and it will never grow your platform unless you do some sort of like really like you're clip farming essentially to go viral on TikTok. If you want to go down that route, go right ahead, be my guest, right? But really what you're doing is you're trying to farm growth on a different platform, which is TikTok or short form on YouTube, something like that. The mechanisms of growth on Twitch do not exist. They do not exist. You will not grow on Twitch. Spending hours and hours streaming on Twitch will not get you to grow. Now, you might go from 20 viewers to 40 viewers. Sure, you might double your growth, but you will never grow orders of magnitude. You will never go from 10 to 1,000, right? That will never occur unless you go to YouTube. YouTube has actual recommendation algorithms. It actually gives a chance to smaller channels to grow, and it is a 24/7 billboard for your stream. It is the largest funnel to capture the most amount of audience to then funnel the super fans who then can discover you via YouTube to your Twitch. This also serves as your billboard for agencies and publishers. They are not going to tune into your live stream, most likely. I mean, they will a little bit if they happen to catch you live. But for the most part, they're going to look at your YouTube. Your YouTube is like it's like your digital portfolio, man. Do YouTube and do it well. Like, do it for real. Do YouTube, please. Please. Two, take other sponsorship opportunities that align with your values and allow you to express your communication skills. Like I said before, you can win all the tournaments in the world. If you can't prove to these agencies that you can talk on camera and form a coherent sentence together and captivate an audience, a listener, and not be a complete brand risk, then why would they give them your money to go on their live stream to potentially ruin the show? You need to work on this. And so the problem is, obviously, take other sponsorship opportunities. It's not just sponsorships, I will say. Maybe I'll just do opportunities here. Media opportunities, sponsorship opportunities. Chances for you to grow your portfolio to say, hey, I was able to sign a contract, work with other people, work with agencies, work with production companies, and help produce a media production at the end. And things went well. And I wasn't the reason this project failed, right? That is important to have. I think it just establishes credibility. Have your email readily available. Email is how these agencies contact you. You're going to have to sift through the spam and fake emails trying to fish for your information and install exes on your account to steal your YouTube account. Just, be wary of that. But they will contact you via email. This is how this communication works. You need to have your professional email available in your Twitter bio, in your YouTube, Twitch, whatever, Linktree, somewhere. They're going to reach out to you mostly via email. You need to make it easy for people to find you so that when the right opportunity comes, you are prepared and they don't have to work to try to reach out to you. Be consistent. You need to be consistent. Like, this takes time and it takes a bit of luck, of course. But the main thing is, if you are like, I guess I'll talk to you specifically, Hotashi. I do wish you all the best. You have to keep working on doing your content and working on building your ability to communicate. That is the number one most important thing. Being a strong player, I think, is one of those things in this world that helps you get your foot in the door and establish credibility with the hardcore competitive scene. And then you can spin that to do different contents based on your competitive endeavors, based on tutorials, based on education. Then you can do fun things, whatever. But the main thing is you are building your communication skills and you're building your audience via that means. And that grows your audience. Those numbers will then attract potential sponsors who could then look at your YouTube and see that as your digital portfolio, see if you align with their brand values and that you demonstrate the ability to communicate. They might approach you with a smaller opportunity via your email. If you respond to the email immediately, professionally, you're on time. They don't have to painstakingly try to get your attention. You respond promptly. That means you're easy to work with. You make their life easier. They might establish, a consistent work relationship and give more and more opportunities as you grow, both in your content creator endeavors and with them professionally. You just have to be available and be consistent in that sense. And I really do think many opportunities that I've had in the FGC were because I read my emails, I read my DMs, and I responded to them. I can't tell you how many times I have been the second choice for an opportunity, but because the first guy didn't respond, I was there to pick up the slack. And that, I made a career out of it, man. I'm telling you, you will get far by checking your email. In the end, that's really the only opportunities or rather advice I have in this sense. People I'm looking for in the future to be picked up for these opportunities, I'm of course looking at like a Lord Knight. I think Lord Knight has put himself in a prime position as an expert in this realm of fighting games, one of the best to ever do it, and an amazing communicator, amazing content creator. And I think he is definitely someone I would recommend to these agencies to look out for, especially in the world of anime games or any fighting game opportunity in general. You should be reaching out to Lord Knight. And of course, someone like Diphone. I think Diphone should be reached out to for these kind of opportunities. They could have definitely replaced me with Diphone here. And I think the only reason I would have gotten this opportunity to do this live stream instead of Diphone is because I've worked with this agency in the past. But that doesn't mean that Diphone hasn't been reached out to for this. So Diphone actually did the restream as well. So he must have been reached out to by the same agency. This might lead to more opportunities with that agency that has contacts with Arc System Works to establish this relationship to get more consistent opportunities for him in the long run. And that's it. That's really all I got. I hope this clarifies a little bit about how this process works. And I definitely agree that this whole announcement show was really funny. Weird cast of characters. I couldn't believe it myself that I was on a stream with Mighty Mouse and Sea Dog. That was mad random. And I had to brush up on my Guilty Gear. I had to get Guilty Gear on my Nintendo Switch and try to remember how to play for the show. So yeah, it was out of left field for sure. Fun opportunity though. I do hope in the future that more people endemic to the scene, people who are really in the gym, shooting with them, grinding day in and day out, get more opportunities. But in order to be receiving those, you definitely have to increase your reach and increase your marketability and appeal to a wider audience. It's just what they're looking for in that sense. Hope that helps. Hope maybe that was intriguing or useful for somebody out there. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Peace.